Chapter 7, Section 4, homework number 13. Again, solving two system equations by multiplication and elimination. Looking at number 13, what do we see? By inspection, we notice that none of the coefficients match up, but if we multiply the second equation, again, I like to label them number 1 and number 2, the second equation, and we can multiply it by 5 to get the x's to line up with the coefficients of 5's, or we can multiply it by 3 and line up the y's with the coefficient of 3. I always like to choose smaller numbers when I can, so we're going to multiply the second equation by 3, and that's going to get us across the board when we do it. 3 times x is 3x minus 3 times y is 3y equals 4 times 3 is 12. We're just going to rewrite the first equation to match up the coefficients. Negative 5x plus 3y equals 6. So now we can just add these up. So negative 5x plus 3x is negative 2x. 3y minus 3y is 0. 6 plus 12 is 18. So we get negative 2x equals 18. Divide each side by negative 2. So x is going to equal negative 9. Again, we're not done. We've got to solve for y now, but we do know x is equal to 9. So we're going to use the second equation. We're going to rewrite it right here, and we know it's x minus y equals 4. We're going to plug in our x value that we have as negative 9. So it's going to be negative 9 minus y equals 4. Let's get y by itself, so add 9 to each side. We get negative y equals 13. Okay, now we're going to multiply each side by negative 1, or basically just flip the signs. So y is going to equal negative 13. And you can check your work to make sure it's right. So you're going to get a solution set of negative 9, comma, negative 13. Number 14. By inspection, we notice if we multiply the top equation by 2, we can get the x's that have the same coefficient. However, if we multiply the top one by 3, we notice we can get the y's to be the same coefficients or opposite coefficients, because we'll have a positive 3 and a negative 3. So I like to simplify our steps, so we're going to multiply this one, the top one, by 3. So we're going to just move it over to the right. So 3 times x is 3x plus 3 times y, 3y equals 3 times 3, which is 9. We're just going to slide over our second equation. 2x minus 3y equals 16. So now we're just going to add these together. 3x plus 2x equals 5x. 3y minus 3y, it goes away. And 9 plus 16 equals 25. So we're going to divide each side by 5, because 5x equals 25. Divide it by 5, and we're going to get x is equal to 5. Okay, we're not done yet. We've got to solve for y. So equation 1 to me looks like the simplest one, so we're going to rewrite equation 1 right here. X plus y equals 3. Plug in the x value we have. We already knew x equals 5, so 5 plus y equals 3. Subtract 5 on each side. We get y is equal to negative 2. So our solution set is x equals 5 and y equals negative 2. So we write that as 5 comma negative 2. And that's our solution set. Number 15. We get 2x plus y equals 5. 3x plus or minus 2y is 4. So by inspection, we can tell if we multiply the top equation by 2, we can get a new equation where the y coefficients are the exact other opposites, 2 and negative 2, which is what we'd like. So we're going to multiply 2 times 2x would be 4x, plus 2 times y is 2y, equals 2 times 5, which is 10. And remember, whatever we do to one side of the equation, we have to do the other side, so this is still a balanced and equal equation. We're just going to slide over the second equation. 3x minus 2y equals 4. So we can add these up nicely. So we're going to get 4x plus 3x is a 7x. 2y minus 2y is 0. 10 plus 4 is 14. So we get 7x equals 14. Divide each side by 7, and x is going to equal 2. Okay, looking again at the equation, trying to find the simplest one to use. Equation 1 to me looks like the simplest, so we're going to rewrite equation 1. 2x plus y equals 5. Plug in our x value that we've already solved for, where x equals 2 for that. So we're going to get 2 times 2 plus y equals 5. Simplifies to 4 plus y equals 5. Subtract 4 on each side, and we get y is equal to 1. So our solutions are x equals 2 and y equals 1. So we'll write that 2 comma 1, and that's our solution set. And you can check again if you'd like, and it'll work. Number 16. There's a few different ways we could do this one. Again, by inspection, none of the coefficients match up. I could multiply the bottom equation, equation 2, by 4 and get the same coefficients, positive 4, or I could multiply it by a negative 4, and I could be done with the work, and we can have opposite coefficients. So since we're using the bottom one, I'm going to just write the first one over again. Just slide it over. 4x minus 3y equals 12. Okay, now we're going to multiply. The bottom equation, all the terms, by negative 4. So negative 4 times x is negative 4x. Negative 4 times 2y, again just for the visual, is negative 8y. And negative 4 times 14 is negative 56. So now we can add these up to eliminate the x. So 4x minus 4x is 0. Negative 3y plus negative 8y is negative 11y. Okay, 12 minus 56. 12 minus 56 is negative 44. Divide each side by a negative 11. Y is going to equal 4. Again, we're not done with this equation. We've just solved for y. Now we got to solve for x. By inspection, it looks like equation 2 would be the best one to use, so let's rewrite equation 2. X plus 2y equals 14. Okay, now we just plug in for y. We've already solved, so let's rewrite the equation. X plus 2, we found out y was 4, equals 14. So x plus 8 equals 14. Subtract 8 on each side, and we get x equals 6. So our solution set is x comma y, so 6 comma 4 is our solution set. And again, you can double check and it works out perfectly. Going to number 18. By inspection, you can see you can multiply the bottom equation by 4 to get x coefficients to both be 8. And again, we'd like them to be opposite coefficients, so we'd like to multiply the bottom equation by a negative 4 if we can do that. So I believe we can. So let's multiply by a negative 4. And again, since the top equation, we're just going to slide over again. Just rewrite it. 8x minus 3y equals negative 11. Okay, we're going to multiply. We're going to multiply the bottom one by negative 4. So negative 4 times 2x is negative 8x. Negative 5y times a negative 4 is going to be plus 20y. And negative 4 times 27 is going to be a negative 108. So now, we have opposite coefficients. We can just add these two equations. 8x minus 8x is 0. Negative 3y plus 20y is 17y. And negative 11 minus 108 is going to be negative 119. So we got to divide each side by 17, and you're going to find out y is equal to negative 7. Again, we're not done yet. I'm going to use equation 2 to solve for x because it looks like the simpler one. So 2x minus 5y equals 27. 2x minus 5, we have our y value we solve for, so we're just subbing the y for negative 7 equals 27. So rewrite and simplify 2x. Negative 5 times a negative 7 is a plus 35 equals 27. So we're going to subtract 35 to each side. So we're going to get 2x is equal to negative 8. Divide each side by 2. X is equal to negative 4. So our solution set is x equal to negative 4, y is negative 7, so we can rewrite it. Negative 4 is your x value, negative 7 is your y value. So the solution says negative 4, negative 7. And again, you can double check that and show that it works perfectly well. Number 20. We have two equations. 2x minus 3y equals 2 and 5x plus 4y equals 3. Okay. Well, you don't have any simple multiplication coefficients you can do to get the coefficients matched up. So if I multiplied the top one by 5 and the bottom one by 2, I could get the x coefficients matched up to be 10. If I multiply the top one by 4 and the bottom one by 3, I could get the y coefficients to be opposites at 12. So that's what I want to do. I'm going to multiply the top one by 4 and the bottom one by 3. So let's rewrite these equations. Going to multiply the top one by 4. So to follow along, 4 times 2x is 8x. 4 times negative 3y is negative 12y. And 4 times 2 is 8. Okay, the second one we're going to multiply by 3. 3 times 5x is 15x. 3 times 4y is positive 12y. And 3 times 28, okay, is 84. So we can add these because we have opposite coefficients at 12y and negative 12y. So let's see what we get. 8x plus 23x, 8x plus 15x equals 23x. Negative 12y plus 12y goes away. And 84 plus 8 is 92. Divide each side by 23. You're going to get x is equal to 4. Okay, now we can plug back into one of the original equations. I'm going to use equation 2 just because it's already a positive number, so I'm going to rewrite it. 5x plus 4y equals 28. What we're doing over here again is we're solving for y. Plug in our x value. So we knew x is equal to 4. So we can plug that in right there. So we can rewrite this equation as 5 times 4 plus 4y is equal to 28. So that'll simplify to 20 plus 4y is equal to 28 minus 20 on each side. So we're going to get 4y is equal to 8. Divide each side by 4. So y is equal to 2. So we solve the solution set. X is 4 and y is 2. So let's rewrite it. 4 comma 2 in parentheses. That's our solution set. And again, you can double check if you want, and it works just well. Number 22. 0.4x plus 0.5y equals 2.5. 1.2x minus 3.5y equals 2.5. Now all the book's trying to do is scare you a little bit. If you notice, you multiply, you can think of this in terms of 4x plus 5y equals 25 and 12x minus 35y equals 25 if the decimals bother you. Okay, but what you'll notice, you can either multiply the top equation by 3 or 5 to get the x coefficients matched up with the y coefficients. Since if I multiply by 7, I should say, if I multiply the top equation by 7, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to have my y coefficients be opposite, so they will eliminate each other. So let's multiply by 7 and see what happens. Okay, 7 times 0.4x is going to be 2.8x. So 7 times 4 is 28. You got one decimal point. You just move it over. 7 times 0.5y is going to be 3.5y. Again, 7 times 5 is 35. 7 times 2.5, okay, 7.2.5 is going to equal 0.5. It's going to be 17 and a half. Okay, the bottom equation we don't have to do anything with. It's equation number 2. We don't have to do anything. We're just going to move it over. 1.2x minus 3.5y equals 2.5. Match all the decimal points up so we don't make mistakes. Okay, we can just add these things up together. 2.8x plus 1.2x is equal to 4x. 3.5y minus 3.5y goes away at 0. 17.5 plus 2.5 is equal to 20. So 4x is equal to 20. Divide each side by 4, so you're going to get x is equal to 5. Alright, I'm going to choose equation number 1 to rework because y is positive. So equation number 1 is 0.4x plus 0.5y is equal to 2.5. We've already solved for x. We know x equals to 5, so we're just going to plug it in and rewrite it. So we get 0.4 times 5 plus 0.5y equals 2.5. We simplify, that's going to become 2 plus 0.5y equals 2.5. We subtract 2 from each side, so you're going to get 0.5y equals 0.5. So you divide each side by 0.5, or you could multiply. If you see this easier, you can multiply each side by 2. And what you're going to find out is y is equal to 1. So your solution set is x equals to 5 and y equal to 1. So you'd rewrite that as 5, 1 in parentheses, and then box it for your answer. You can check your work as usual. Number 25. It's a word problem, so you notice there's nothing up there. I'm going to read it and work it together. 7 times a number, so 7 times a number, plus 3 times another number, plus 3 times another number, equals -1. The sum of the two numbers, so n plus a, is -3. What are the numbers? Okay, so we have 7n plus 3a equals -1, and n plus a equals -3. Okay, right now you can tell we don't have any coefficients the same, so we can rewrite the first equation over to the right like we have been, because that's not the one we're going to manipulate. We notice if we multiply the bottom equation by -3, we can eliminate the a's. So rewrite it. 7n plus 3a equals -1. Now we're going to multiply the second equation by -3. So -3 times n is -3n, plus -3 times a is -3a, equals -3 times -3 is 9. So we should be able to add these equations together. 7n, I'm going to move it over here for us. 7n minus 3n is 4n. 3a minus 3a is 0. And negative 1 plus 9 is 8. So 4n equals 8. Divide each side by 4. N is equal to 2. Okay, I'm going to use the second equation. N plus a equals negative 3. We already know n equals 2, so we're just going to plug that in, rewrite the equation. So positive 2 plus a equals negative 3. So we're going to subtract 2 to each side, and we're going to find a equals negative 5. So a equals negative 5 and n equals 2 and a equals negative 5. Okay, easy enough. We had number 26 as well as a homework assignment. Number 26 is another word problem, so we're just going to write it out as I read it. 5 times a number minus twice another number equals 22. The sum of the numbers is 3. Find the number. So let's reread it. 5 times a number minus twice another number, so n for number and a for another number, equals 22. The sum of the numbers is 3, so n plus a is 3. So we can do multiplication and elimination. If we multiply the bottom equation by 2, we notice we get coefficients of a of 2 and negative 2, so they're opposite, so we can just add the equation. So let's slide over the top equation. 5n minus 2a equals 22. We're going to multiply this bottom equation by 2. So 2 times n is 2n plus 2 times a is 2a equals 2 times 3 is 6. So we can just add these equations together. 5n plus 2n is 7n. Negative 2a plus 2a goes away. 22 plus 6 is 28. Divide each side by 7. Divide each side by 7. N equals 4. Okay, so we solve for part of the equation. N equals to 4. So we've got to solve for a. We got to solve for a. We got to solve for a. So let's rewrite this equation. We're going to use equation 2 because it looks the easiest. N plus a equals 3. N is 4, so we can just substitute n for 4. So 4 plus a equals 3. Subtract 4 to each side to get a by itself. A is negative 1. So the two numbers that solve the solution set are a equals negative 1 and n equals 4.